No, all the hitting just naturally comes out of the flow. It's just bones colliding in different places. So, relax. Right? So when you're doing this, you could also think of maybe try doing some polishing the sphere in front of the bag. And then let the bag get in the way. Right? Polishing the sphere and washing the body. And the bag just happens to get in the way various places. When the is especially good is when the bag comes back and hits you. Make sure you absorb it and you drop. Okay? Because if I'm here and I'm just kind of turning around and oh, this happens, obviously I wasn't on balance and I wasn't loose and I wasn't dropping. Right? But if I'm just polishing this sphere, washing the body, again, I don't know where this thing's going to go. I know it looks silly, but if you notice what's going on this end and this end, I'm keeping my balance. The bag isn't knocking me over. And every strike, even if it's not necessarily like hard and demonstrative, it's penetrating and doing the job. Remember, we don't want to become master bag hitters. Heavy bags are not people. No, seriously. People will like work out on heavy bags and become so good at hitting the heavy bag, whereas actual people and different parts of actual people do not react like heavy bags. Okay? And like no part of them. That's why it's very important in contact flow. Someone on here. Can I cut the line? All right? That's why it's important in contact flow. The way you learn how to hit people is by hitting people. Okay? I need to feel what all the parts of his body feel like. We move slow enough so that we can actually feel it with like full penetration and all different targets. Okay? If you just put on gloves and just hammer at each other at high speed all the time, it'll toughen you up a bit, but you're not actually going to get that feel, that qualitative effect of how to effectively hit different parts of the body. And it's not something that you can like really explain. It's just the same thing. If you like cook different kinds of food, like how you fillet a fish or chop ribs or whatever, you're not going to have the same touch. It's not just a matter of how much force you're applying or what kind of knife you use. No, everything has its own touch. The way you type isn't the same way you sew, isn't the same way you do anything else. The way you knit is not the same way you sew. It has a different touch, right? Same thing here. If we want to become specialists at hurting people, as unfortunate as that sounds, it's again part of what we're talking about here, okay? We have to actually touch and hit different parts of people. And that's also another reason why we want to do our contact flow at generally like medium and slower speeds, so that no matter where it's hitting, besides maybe the eyes, we can get that realistic contact and penetration, okay? Because if we're always kind of going at, keep going, right? Always kind of going at this speed. Right? If you notice, everything to his head and neck, I have to stop short. Because he's not nearly loose enough to get out of the way of any of that yet. Okay? Neither am I, frankly, probably, if it were like Al doing it. Okay? But what kind of habits do you create if you're constantly pulling stuff short? Or if you're constantly hitting with like different kinds of protection or whatever? Okay? Don't get me wrong, it might still work at the moment, but we want to really become specialists at feeling this stuff. So, as you and your training partners get better and you get looser, you can actually start going faster and still hitting because you're counting on each other to get out of the way, right? But you don't want to do that too soon. You don't want to just like, oh, you should have gotten out of the way. Not good for training, all right? So you both go basically at a speed where you're comfortable, moving your body enough to avoid injury. You don't actually gouge out each other's eyes, but you can get close, right? Boom, sorry. Should have gotten them out of the way. All right, so you kind of get the idea. So you need to become specialists at hitting people. And again, other things that fuck that up, people who have mental hang-ups about hitting other people, they could be loose, but then when they get near the person, it turns into a very tense push because maybe something in their head, and I had this for a while, still do sometimes, their parents always told them, don't hit people, it's not nice. And so when it gets time to hit them, there's like some subconscious holding back. Well, that's not good for two reasons. A, they don't learn, and B, oh, well, if he really wants to kill me, I'll be able to hit him. If you've habitually forced yourself never to hit people, that could actually become an issue, right? I'm sure it happens a lot in self-defense that, people like minimally trained people hit ineffectually because either they don't have the experience of doing it, or they just don't have the moral will, or they just, been told since they were young, don't hit people, don't hurt people. And just like hitting a bag or hitting in the air does not really get that out of you. Lieutenant Colonel Al to this day, well, not as much anymore, he kind of broke me of the habit, but until pretty recently, we would work and he would move really fast and he would leave openings specifically for me to feel and exploit, because he wanted my body to learn how to, you know, get in and do the right stuff. But a lot of the times, like, I would feel bad because a lot of the times he'd be moving so fast that, well, when I hit, it would feel to me at least really freaking hard, and I would feel bad because I knew he was letting me do it, right? And so I'd be like, ooh, sorry, and he'd be like, don't apologize. And it'd be very hard. And eventually that worked. I stopped saying sorry. But there was a point to that. If I feel, even like at a very subconscious level, if I feel apologetic every time I hit someone hard, you know, in real life, if you hit someone in self-defense, on some level it is because they let you, right? So you better be comfortable with fucking doing that and not have any like weird subconscious hang-ups. Because it would be tragic enough to be like insufficiently trained or like facing too dire odds and get like seriously hurt or killed. It would be like even more tragic, arguably, if you had the requisite skill and you were able to deal with it, but your subconscious didn't allow you to fully penetrate with your strikes. Okay? Because again, there is a big difference between hitting someone in the throat like this, like just tapping it, or in the neck like that, right? You're pretty much fine, right? Versus doing it like that, right? Like shoving the trachea all the way to the back of his spine. Okay? It's a very big difference in effect. One of them pisses him off, or he doesn't even notice it. The other one, don't count on it, but in a lot of cases, it results in something like that.
The second one wasn't even that hard, but it probably would have killed him.
Again, it's all qualitative. It's that touch. Exactly. No, and again, different people require different. Again, it's more about the touch. John has students. Well, John has said he has students who can hit qualitatively a lot harder than he can, simply because they're bigger, better built. They know how to drop and penetrate and everything. And if you like hold up a focus mitt, it's no contest. John hits it, bam, that feels hard. Big Frank hits it, oh, right? But then Frank attacks John, and like he can't land anything, and John is like freaking, you know, knocking his head off. So it's kind of the difference between, you know, Frank with the 44 Magnum, which he can maybe get somewhere on a normal person's body, versus the way John explains it. He said like versus John with the 38 Special that he can always like put right under your chin or in your ear. I corrected him and said it's more like a 357 Magnum, but anyways, it's not like John has a leg beat. But again, and these days John doesn't have much muscle left, but again, it's a combination of that qualitative touch and, again, being able to recruit the whole skeleton to do everything you need it to do. Make any sense?
I have a question. When you go at medium speed, like this seems to come up, people have different preferences. So to train yourself to do the penetration, if I think I have this shot and I think I've got alignment, how much do you want to penetrate so that you're not training yourself in a fake way, but you're also not, you know, making it a punching contest? So you just,
If you think you have the shot, you never did. Remember what we were talking about? This is about subconscious movement and having the bones collide. Let it go free. Let it go free. Don't worry about hitting me. Okay. You are using your muscles to avoid hitting me. I am moving your skeleton in ways that you should be hitting me, not in the shoulders. I'm moving your skeleton in ways you should be. If you were to just let your body swing freely,
so
you should be penetrating.
I'm stopping, yeah.
So should I train you the way I'll train me out of that?
Sure, yeah.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm nicer than that. Continue. Sing. Boom. Continue. Crack. Bam. See, I'm not going to break. Right? Right? Did everyone see that? Yeah. So he stepped back instead of hitting me about 5 times. And I was standing here waiting for him.
So to correct this.
Crack! To correct it, you need to get again, since you weren't aware of it consciously, it's something subconsciously, you need your training partner's help to get you out of this hesitancy to hit people. If it's to the point where the only time you're like hitting people is when you're thinking, I think I've got this here, so how hard should I do it? No, that's not where it's at. Again, if you think you've hit, then it's already too late, right? If I think I have a hit here, I guess I didn't, right? And what you should have done, if you had sunk in place and kept this on that side of your body, you're sinking back, sink in place. And turn to me, and let this go through. Now very relaxed. Relax your shoulder. Head suspended from a string. Just turn towards me and sink your weight onto your other leg. Okay? No, not that. Right? What if you just let your body go? Would have been going right through me. And at this speed, I'll probably survive. Remember, we're going slow enough that even if your bone like hits my neck, my body has enough time to go, woo! That's the only difference. If you dropped it and did it like that, then this would have no time to get out of the way and something would give, and it's probably not going to be this, right? So that's the idea. We're just crushing shit in between bones. Continue. Good. Now, your hesitancy to hit, we have now diagnosed. Instead of letting you remain free and bang this, it's suddenly if you wanted to keep this contact and just push through it, because that's nicer.
Right.
It's nicer to push people than to let your bones bounce off them.
Right.
But you don't want to get a habit to do that, right? Boom, crack. Right? So you want, as much as possible, all your hitting to be nice and crisp, and even at slow speed, you notice whenever I hit, it has that little thud.
Yeah.
That's just my bones colliding with your bones, with nothing added and only a little taken away, depending on where I'm hitting you. Right? Because some of these are not really getting out of the way. But, so relax, let just sink in place, head suspended from a string. That's not sinking in place, that's doing some weird shit with your arm. Sink in place, continue. Don't push that. Let this.
Okay, so it's, yeah, it's just
You're not going to do it.
No, no.
Sink, let it go. No, that's, you tried to add something to it, which took a lot away from the front. Do it to my chest.
Just
Let your bones do the work. But better, a lot of your focus was in your arm. Right? If your mind is going to the part of your body that's hitting because you feel guilty about it, that fucks you.
okay.
So not to get all like Musashi on you, but you need to, if your mind stops anywhere consciously, then you're fucked. I need to just keep subconscious. No reason to accelerate. This was good. And you got scared of the fact that you hit me and you accelerated. Boom, continue, crack, bam. That's just your arm. Keep your body moving. Right? I'm not trying to pick on you, but I'm trying to see if I can cure you of this quick enough. All right? No, so it's everyone has their own hang-ups. Thanks. Okay? It could be hesitancy to hit. It could be too much ego and like too much desire to hit. You know what I mean? Not that I think you have ego, but I just want to test. I'm not trying to get all like Freud on everyone, but this shit does get deep. Stay with me. Yeah. Don't just let me hit you. Like that. Boom. Continue. Keep moving in. Okay? It's your legs, right? If you're walking like this, then you don't have much underneath this. So nice and deep. Boom. Use your whole body. Okay. Head suspended from a string, right? There's still a lot going on up here. Continue. Okay. See how you're trying to be taller than I am? Okay. Just as a general thing, I think I said it to him because obviously he's tall. If people who are tall, and this even applied to me because like at least in the beginning I was generally taller than most of the people, lose the desire to be tall. It's very common to want to like kind of tower. It feels safer, but it'll really fuck you up because you're off balance. Okay? So when you're training with people, try to be shorter than your training partner. There we go. That'll teach you how to balance. Because in reality, if someone bigger than you attacks you, you're not going to be able to like climb them or something. You could try, but it probably won't. There was no reason to pull this back. Get you here, move with your body. Boom, continue. Boom, crack. Don't do that because you think it, because it wasn't there. Basically, all you did there, you were pushing on this, you were depending on this to keep your balance. Knee. Do the knee like you did before. Knee.
Oh, you just lifted up.
Well, exactly. It wasn't there. So, don't do something because you think it's there. Just feel it's actually there. Boom. Continue. You can't control me. Don't try to control me with your arm. I don't know how we got here, but it's not so good. Relax. Head suspended from a string. Much simpler. Make a fist maybe. Or open hand. Good. You don't need to raise your elbow to hit there. Just open your hand like a chin jab. Right? Boom. Whole body. Continue.
I'm trying to learn what you're trying to do.
No, don't try. Just move your whole body.
Just feel
Boom.
it.
Yeah. Just try to keep moving with what's going on. That's how you learn. Make sure you're hitting with the bones, not the fleshy part. Good. Continue. Bam. Crack. Get your balance. Boom. There you go. you go.